here we are. Three podcasters who don't have a single team in the NFL playoffs. Pretty crazy to think that the Detroit Lions aren't in. I'm not going to twist the dagger. But hey, everyone, it's Jake. The Jets missed the playoff again. I'm covering sports before they've had a home playoff game. But we are back. TalkBall Tweakers, episode 36. I'm pretty sure my numbers are wrong, but joined by Toussaint and Blake McQuarrie. We took a little time off with the new year and everything, but we're excited to be back before the college football playoff semifinals and NFL playoffs. So, fellas, I missed you. How are we doing besides obviously the Lions?
Um, Doing good. Doing good. I mean, in good spirits because we beat the Bears. So,
You heard that, Hector?
we ended the season right. We ended the
Yeah.
season right. Get Ben Johnson out of there, man. 2-0.
Yeah, we lo-
2-0.
we love that. We love that. He was
2-0.
pissed.
And they're gonna see us, they're gonna meet us back in Cancun soon, so it doesn't really matter. But no, we're doing good. We're doing real good. I am depressed though that we are not. I'm not gonna watch Detroit Lions playoff football. That has been a blessing the past couple of seasons, but it is what it is. Fourth place. We got that fourth place schedule now.
Yeah, exactly. Like nine came through and gave you guys the fourth place schedule.
Motherfuckers better wake up, man. So I'm feeling good.
Fire.
Yeah, I feel
Well,
great. I was about to say it's Piston season, so we turn a new leaf into another sport. As you said, we got a cupcake schedule next year, so uh, you know, it looks like we should be going back to the playoffs if, they're not, you know, in favor of the Packers again, giving them an easy schedule, what have you.
do you
Uh,
guys want Aaron Glenn back? You guys can have him. It's been fun. It hasn't been fun, actually. It's been awful,
Bro, how
if
do
I'm
you
being
not have
completely
an
honest.
interception? That's insane.
Why are you looking at me?
But you
I
play
come on.
Tua twice a year and you didn't pick him off once.
I come on this
That's
podcast
crazy.
every week and every time we talk about the Jets, and I say exactly what you guys are thinking right now, which is how do they do these impossible things? And then they do. And even before we talk ball, just for the intro, and we could clip this immediately because Pod, if you're listening to this, the Jets are the worst team in NFL history. They would lose to the 0-16 Lions. They would lose to the 0-16 Browns. Let me do a few stats. Zero interceptions in the NFL season. Zero 400-yard receivers. Our leading receiver this year was Garrett Wilson, who hasn't caught a pass since October 12th. All right. Zero Jets quarterbacks have thrown for 10 touchdowns for the fifth time in 6 years. The one time that it did happen was Aaron Rodgers. He left because Aaron Glenn kicked him out the door. Zero playoff appearances since 2010. Zero home playoff games since me, Blake, and Toussaint have become existence on this earth. They haven't had a playoff game. Haven't. And I'll throw in one more because why not? Four defensive turnovers this season. That's the lowest mark since the 1950s. They'd lose to the Browns. They'd lose to the Lions. They'd lose to the Raiders, by the way, and they couldn't get the number one pick because strength of schedule. But hey, Dante Moore, come on down. Come on down. The Jets are the worst team in NFL history. I fully believe that. Aaron Glenn, you're going to get another shot. Great. You do not deserve it. But all right, sorry. How we doing? I think it's time. I think it's time.
I love the rant to kick this off. That's what I like
Yeah.
to see. That's what I like
Yeah.
to do. Let's do this, man. Let's get it.
Exactly. So let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Three, two, one. Let's talk
Talk
ball.
ball.
We did good enough. And before we talk about the NFL playoffs, we're going to do the selfish team because our teams are not in it. We're going to talk about the college football playoff, which is well underway. A month ago, if I told you that the four remaining teams would be Indiana, Oregon, Miami, and Ole Miss, people would have called me insane. They would have called me insane if I said the other one too, because I am insane. But let me just set the slate really fast. The college football playoff champion this year will be either the most historic turnaround in college football history, a program that's been longing for national relevance, but has not taken that last step, the U, who has been the best program in college football, arguably coming back to the mountaintop for the first time in over 20 years, or a team that lost their head coach before this season, win it all. I honestly think that I'm going to turn it over to you guys, but this is exactly what the committee wanted. Exactly what they wanted. A lot of people thought it would be Ohio State and Georgia, and yeah, we have parity, and it's pretty fucking awesome. Excuse the language.
I mean, I'm going to start with those two teams that you just mentioned, Jake, Ohio State and Georgia.
Yeah.
Both games, obviously, great games. Great games. I would say the best two games of the College Football Playoff thus far. Miami knocking off Ohio State and then Ole Miss knocking off Georgia. Start with Miami and Ohio State. I mean, what a shock that was. You guys know, everybody knows I'm a Michigan guy. I fully
Wait,
thought
really?
I
That's
thought
crazy.
I I really thought Ohio State was putting belt to ass in that game, and Miami just weathered the storm and it, I mean they played great. They did. Carson Beck dropped his nuts on the Buckeyes. Absolutely dropped his nuts. Carson Beck played. He was probably. I think that was the biggest surprise to me this far is the way that Carson Beck played. I did not think that he was capable of doing what he did against Ohio State, and he did it. And Miami's playing as good as anybody right now, clearly. So that was a huge, huge shock to me. Shout out to the U. Shout out to my boy Sham, because he's a U. He is a Miami Hurricane. So yeah, that one was insane to me. And then Ole Miss and Georgia, Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, what else can you say? Michigan guy. All right. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Shout out. The way that he is playing right now. And
Yeah.
I think I think since he stepped into the role with Austin Simmons when Austin Simmons got injured, I had said he was playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and he's done that since he stepped up, and he's showing that now. He's showing his capabilities. He's showing what he's made of. I think honestly, Ole Miss has a very, very good chance um, of winning, beating Miami and going to the national championship. I don't want to pick yet. But I think Ole Miss is going to do it and get to the Natty, which is crazy just because of the situation of Lane Kiffin departing. We had the whole discussion on if Ole Miss was even going to win a college football playoff game. We didn't think that they were, especially with Lane Kiffin not coaching there anymore. So it's good to see. It really is. I think what has happened just with those two games is exactly what the college football playoff is for. And this is exactly what the committee has tried to do. And now it's a success is, things like that happening. So it's good to see. It's good for college football. It's good for the college football playoff brand. And yeah.
Yeah, I gotta give
Yeah, I
prop.
mean,
Go ahead.
oh, go first. You go first. I've
I
been
was
hogging, so
I was
go.
just gonna say I gotta give props to Miami, props where it's due. Like for you to go in there, be the last G5 team or the last Power Four team, excuse me, not G5, Power Four team to get in and to dominate the team that had been dominated, that had been dominating, excuse me, that had been dominating all of college football. Um, I think there's something to be said in this whole thing, because I hold a lot of sentiment, the same thing that Blake said, but I think there's something to be said about schedules, and I think that's what some of this is. Um, Ohio State had a weak schedule. Like I know they played some comp, but they played some weak teams, and obviously teams do this so that they can try and get one loss, maybe two losses, sneak into the playoffs, and then have to compete. But their toughest game was really against Texas, and that was the first game of the year. I think something has to be said because you're playing a bunch of weak teams, and then you go and then you lose, right? You lose to Indiana, and then you have this rest. So it's a combination of the of your schedule and rest versus rust. So when you don't play a lot, and then you only have one team all year that you're playing, and then all of a sudden you're facing Indiana. I think they thought that Indiana, because we weren't here for when they lost to Indiana. Indiana, I think they walked into that game and they said, "We're Ohio State, right? We stomp on people, we walk all over them, and this will be no problem." And then they get to Miami. And then I don't know if people heard it. Most people watching this probably didn't. Arvell Reese had an interview before the game where they asked him, what are you looking to do here? Like, what's going on? And he was basically like, we just got to come in here, get up out of it, and just move on to the next. No, you can't do that.
Yeah,
You
no.
you can't just walk into a college football playoff game and be like, we just gotta do our piece and then get out of here. No, every single game you play has to be played like it's the national championship because all these teams, every single one of these teams is capable of winning a game. We saw, listen, I know JMU wasn't going to be Oregon and no one picked them, but they hung the most yards and the most points on Oregon's defense all year. And Oregon's a Big
Yep.
Ten school. So I'm
Yep.
saying, like, it doesn't matter that, you know, you're this dominant team. Like you guys have been saying, this is what the college football committee has been wanting. An underdog to come and beat the big dog, right? Ole Miss, their coach leaves, right at the end of the regular season. They still got their star quarterback. They still got the pieces in place. Let's go do it. I think that
Yep.
was the most shocking thing for me because I know Kirby Smart is so dominant and has been in his entire career. He's a monster and he coaches that defense to be a monster. And for them to hang 30, really 36 on that defense, and for Trinidad Chambliss to throw for 300 yards and all those touchdowns, yeah, 362 yards and two touchdowns. I mean, for a guy that came from D2 a year ago to be doing that, that's elite work. So I just got to give, props to those two schools, Miami and Ole Miss, and of course Indiana just, railroading Alabama from the get-go. I mean, there wasn't even a question. From the
No.
moment the Rose Bowl kicked off, Kirk Cignetti was looking at a 4th and 1 and was like, yeah, that ain't gonna work on me. That ain't gonna work. So he comes from the school of Saban. He said that was the greatest thing that he ever could have done was become an assistant to Saban. And so he's got
Yeah.
the Saban look, he's got that feel, he knows how to coach the team. And this is now the Saban of college football. So I'm excited to see Indiana, Miami, Ole Miss, obviously Oregon as well, but all these teams clash off because it's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys put it really well. Just to add on for a few things, I was obviously going to mention Indiana. That was the one that I don't want to say necessarily shocked me the most because I know how good Indiana was. I didn't expect Alabama to look that bad. But Indiana freaking clobbered them. And I think the biggest thing with the Hoosiers that you guys agree, and it was partially why I picked Ohio State, and I'll get to that in a second, was the Hoosiers haven't been here before. But I think what we learned is that no moment is too big for them. They're number one in the country in pressure rate defensively. Their defense is so good. Fernando Mendoza didn't even have to play that great of a game, then threw more touchdowns and incompletions. They ran the ball well. Keelan Black, Roman Hemby. They took Alabama to Alabama. Imagine if I told you 3 years ago that Indiana would beat Alabama 38-3 in the Rose Bowl. People would say you're insane. So Indiana, favorite by far for me. Oregon, very fast. Everybody listening to this, watch Ducks versus them on the Oregon YouTube channel because Dan Lanning, once again, is the best motivator in America. He put up the Big 12 schedule. I don't know if you guys saw this in the team meeting. He put up the Big 12 schedule saying, now Texas Tech has to play us, right? Texas Tech's defense is great. Everybody's talking about them. What about our defense? He called it, let's go get our flesh. Let's go get our recognition. Oregon is a wagon, and we'll get to that in a second when we preview. Two other things. I am not going to say I was wrong about Ohio State. I was wrong in the fact that I said they were going to win the national championship. I think in the Indiana game, they had a chance to win. Didn't happen, obviously. That sucks. Miami, they looked bad, right? The Arville Reese thing, you talked about it. It's funny because his other linebacker, Sony Styles, said 10 minutes later on the podium, he goes, no other game matters if we don't win. So personally, I don't know what Arville Reese was doing. He must have been tired from the flight, but whatever. We spoke about this. The reason Miami was going to beat Ohio State if it happened was the trenches. Julian Sain looked uncomfortable throughout the entire contest. And then the pick six made it way too hard. Miami's defense is way too good, even for a defense like Ohio State. And Carson Beck, like you said, played well. And I'll add he was efficient, doesn't turn over the ball. That was the biggest thing about him coming into the season. If he turned over the ball, they're going to lose games. He hasn't had a turnover in the playoff now. And then what's the last one? Georgia Ole Miss was the most shocking to me. That one I'll just say most shocking because not only were they losing to Georgia and Kirby Smart, they were losing to Georgia and Kirby Smart in the second half, where they have notoriously become the best team in college football in the final frame. And a coach in only his second game as a head coach outcoached the best coach in college football. And I know I just said coached a lot, but that's the bottom line. Kirby Smart did not look comfortable. Georgia did not look comfortable. When Ole Miss took that 24-21 lead, even when Georgia came back, they stopped him in the red zone. And Ole Miss looked like the better coach team. Obviously, Trinidad Chambliss is the superstar. And that was shocking. And so just all four of those games, the storylines that come out of it from both sides, like it's awesome. Like we're not going to doubt that Ohio State and Georgia will be back next year because they will. But Ole Miss deserves to be here. Miami deserves to be here. Indiana, Oregon absolutely deserve to be here. And that's just really awesome. Like that's just really awesome. And still it still hasn't sat with me that Ohio State and Georgia are out, but that's where we are.
Yeah. Um, Real quick, because Toussaint brought up scheduling. I mean, is is having a bye in the college football playoff a death wish?
No, it is not a death wish. And I understand the stat, but take out two of those losses because they were Boise State and Arizona State. And then you look at the other teams with the bye, right? Last year, the number one team was Oregon. You guys know my stance on Oregon last year. They were the second best team in America. Seeding screwed them up. They got Ohio State and lost. And Georgia was the number two seed. Carson Beck was out for the season. It was Stockton's first start. Another team made the national championship. This year, the games were just good. I mean, Miami deserved to beat Ohio State, Ole Miss deserved to beat Georgia, and Oregon was favored over Texas Tech. And so those just happen. I don't think a bye is a death wish, but I do like the points both of you made about rust because rust is very real, especially in college football. Like, it's why teams come out so slow in that state and why Dan Lanning before the James Madison game had a pretty much like mock game at Autzen Stadium with the band, with some fans, because you have to, there's just a level that the game provides that you can't get anywhere else. And I guess you're seeing that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just think it's a very interesting point. I wasn't gonna bring it up to just, obviously make excuses for why they lost, but it's a very interesting point. I'm excited to see next year, how those buys work out, what teams win, what teams lose. But no, I think the points you brought up were great, Jake, about just the situations that, have transpired with the teams who have had buys.
I
Um, it's interesting though. It's an
I
interesting
think I
discussion.
think Ohio State, I know they won the Natty last year. I think it has something to do with coaching. When they won last year, Ryan Day was not playing or calling the plays. He decided to take over play calling. Now, yes, he was an OC and he can do the play calling, but as we know from football, it's a lot different when you are the head coach calling the plays in the game instead of managing the team and everything around you versus letting someone else do it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that had something to do with it. I think the play calling wasn't terrible, but I think that he didn't coach them right. I think he was probably more thinking about the play calls, having that duty versus getting them right. Because if you look at the pick six, Jeremiah Smith just misses a block, just plainly misses a block. If you look at the blocking system, the O line wasn't doing its job. I mean, I know Miami has two top five pass rushers in college football. I realize that. But if you're a coach, you stress that to the offensive line. If you're calling the plays, that's your duty to get the offensive line right. And especially if you're the head coach, it's your duty to get the play right, to work with the offensive line coach, to work with the offensive line, get it all, make it all cohesive. And I don't think that's what happened. Julian Sane is a red shirt sophomore, right? Essentially a freshman. That means the cupcake schedule basically means he hasn't seen pressure all year. You see pressure in the first week of the season, and you don't see it anywhere else, right? In the rest of the season, he's gonna relax. He's gonna feel like this is what college football is. He meets two top five pass rushers in football. He's gonna start panicking, and that's what happened. A lot of the snaps he took, if you look at the overhead view, he's like backpedaling, panicking. You can see it in his mechanics. You can see it in his reads. He's panicking. So I think some of it has to do with coaching. I don't understand. Hartline was still there, right? If I'm not mistaken, Hartline was still there. He said he wanted to still coach for the team. You get
Hartline,
that.
Hartline was still there. He was only coaching wide receivers in the Miami game.
So I get the fact that maybe you don't want the whole you know he's looking to the job already and he might be clouded with his judgment, right?
But it's
The
very
Lane the
real.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
it's
you
very
you might
real.
think it might be the Lane Kiffin thing where he's already thinking about the next job and on his way out. But at the same time, it's also your duty as the head coach to make the right decision. And I think that falls on Ryan Day. Listen, he has a ring in his pocket. No one can ever take that from him. But I think at the end of the day, the team was just coached poorly. You saw it. Like the quarterback, the O line, the blocking. Listen, Jeremiah Smith makes that block. The game isn't what it is, right? It's a lot closer, and Ohio State has a chance to win. And
Yeah,
that's attention to detail. These are kids, right? These are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 year olds. That's coaching. So I think
exactly.
that's what it goes towards.
One more thing on Ohio State that I didn't really understand. Like it worked. They scored touchdowns in the second half, but they went on 2 10+ play drives that took the clock. And they were already fighting from 14 down. And so that is on Ryan Day. And you guys will like this because Big Cat, or not because Big Cat said it, but because of what he said. Like Michigan might have ruined their season again because he put so much into that Michigan game and then they didn't do anything else. I don't actually believe that, but I do believe Ryan Day, like he didn't get his guys ready. He said it. So I thought you put that really well. And then the pick six was wow, like sports journalist makes breathtaking take here. The pick six changed the game. It's just hard to fight from 14 down. And so yeah, it's shocking. And I like your saying stuff too. So that's what I
Yeah,
got. Do we
absolutely.
have anything else to say on the quarterfinals or should we dive into these semis?
Go semis.
Let's start with the number one team in America, the Indiana Hoosiers, facing the Oregon Ducks in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Or actually, we're going to scratch that just because Ole Miss Miami's first. Ole Miss in Miami in the College Football Playoff semifinals. It is at the which bowl game is it? Why? Oh, Fiesta Bowl. I know this. Um, what do you guys think are the keys to the game here? I guess.
I think I think first, I think for Ole Miss, they have the offense, obviously. I mean, Ole Miss is one of the best offenses in the country. They've been one of the best offenses in the country all year long. Its defense is like that they need to hone in on defense in this game. Especially against a quarterback who is experienced, who has been there. Like Miami, obviously, they're hot and they're on a tear right now. Ole Miss, I didn't love what I seen from them against Georgia, giving up 34 points, but their offense, like I said, is one of the best offenses in the country, so they could afford it. I don't think they're going to be able to afford that against Miami with how good Miami's defense is. So they don't have to win the defensive battle, but they have to be better on defense. They absolutely have to be better on defense. It's interesting because Pete Golding is a defense guy, right? Like, so you would assume that, Pete Golding would have that defensive, mindset there, for a better performance. But I think that needs to be the number one thing is they need to hone in on defense for this game. And
Yeah,
they not win the matchup, but they need to not give up 34 points.
Yeah.
exactly. And
They're gonna
like
give
one
up.
thing I wanted. Oh wait, yeah, you're so
No,
right.
I'm
Keep
just gonna
going.
say if they're gonna give up more than 30, they're gonna lose. So
Ole Miss hasn't been able to stop the run all year. Like
yeah,
and we see this, and we saw it in the Sugar Bowl too. And yeah, Georgia ran all over them until they were fighting from behind. This is the thing with me when I was looking at this game, and then Tucson, I'll throw to you. I'll be fast. Trinidad Chambliss is a better quarterback than Carson Beck. He's more talented. He's going to make more plays. I have more faith in Miami's offense to score on Ole Miss's defense than I do on Ole Miss's offense to score on Miami's defense. And by reason why is because Ole Miss can't stop the run. Because I'm not going to use the Carson Beck has been here before Trinidad Chambliss hasn't because that's wrong. But I'm going to say I trust Beck to make the easy throws and I trust Mark Fletcher to be run heavy. Do I trust the Ole Miss defensive or offensive line against Ruben Bain in this pass rush? I mean, I don't know. Georgia generated a lot of pressure. Chambliss made the plays, and Ohio State didn't do well against Miami's offensive line. And so going into this, my biggest thing is can Chambliss do his plays against Miami's pass rush and their defense that keeps on gaining confidence? Because Carson Beck might be a worse quarterback. He's going to make the dink and dunk plays. They're going to go to Mark Fletcher. They're going to go to Malachi Tony. And I think they're going to score over 20 points. And I'd hang my hat on that. I can't hang my hat on Ole Miss doing what they did against Georgia against Miami because Miami's defense is better. That wasn't an all-world Georgia defense. This might be the worst Georgia defense we saw under Kirby Smart.
yeah,
So that's what I'm really
especially
looking forward
secondary,
to.
especially secondary wise. That was
Especially secondary. I mean, the secondary, one more thing, like I called them that all year. They are opportunistic. And they weren't like that for most of Kirby. They would shut you down. This year, they were an opportunistic defense that would make that one game-changing play. And that's great, except for when games go into the 30s. And then Chambliss made the game-changing play. And then, by the way, Jalen Everett almost caught that ball. That was almost a pick. But no, you're so right there.
Yeah, I think the X factor here is Trinidad Chambliss. Now that's easy to say because he's the quarterback, but that's really what it is. Like
Thanks, Lunga.
Um, yeah, I think it just rests solely on his shoulders in terms of the magic that he produces. A lot of the plays are going to get blown up, right? I said Miami has two top five pass rushers in college football. He's not going to be able to stand in the pocket comfortably. He's going to have some magic. That play where I can't remember what it was, but he was on his own maybe 30-yard line, ran around, and then made a throw to Lacey. And then Lacey bounced the tackle and then got the first down. He's gonna have to do at least 5 to 10 of those plays this game. He's gonna have to. That offensive line for Ole Miss isn't terrible, but with two top five pass rushers, we saw with Julian Sain is not a mobile quarter. He can be mobile, but he's not
Yeah,
essentially a mobile quarterback like that. He
yeah.
was flustered. He was flustered in the pocket. Now, Shannon Chambliss has a lot more experience, obviously. And I think that he has the magic in his bag to win this game, but that's really what it is. It's Ole Miss's offense versus, Miami's defense. I think flip side, Miami offense versus Ole Miss defense. If Miami lets if they just let it loose, right? If they're like, well, this defense can't stop the run, but then they get a little too greedy and they try and make Carson Beck look like a first round pick. I think Ole Miss can win off of that. I genuinely think like Carson Beck might be thinking psychologically, man, we just took down the defending champs. Um, I saw somebody on Twitter said that Carson Beck had the greatest game managing performance in college football history. And I was like, that's accurate. That's accurate. I think all that Miami has to do to win this game is manage it, and they'll be fine. Like let the defense do its work. Get the turnovers, force the fumbles, short yardage to the end zone. That's all you really gotta do, right? Run the ball, make it a grueling game. This should not be a shootout for Miami. If it's a shootout for Miami, I think Miami's gonna lose because Trinidad Chambliss is gonna get in his bag, he's gonna get in his Duffy and work. But I think if
Oh, that's
Miami,
facts.
but I think if
Yeah.
Miami says we just gonna let it fly, like if they think that Carson Beck's a gunslinger, they're losing. So I think the
Thank
X
you.
factor is obviously Chambliss and how if he can pull magic out of the bag.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was actually going to go against you when you said Miami should sort of let it loose. I think that they just need to pound the rock with Mark Fletcher. They need to control the time of possession because I know I said I trust Miami's offense more, but I trust Trinidad Chambliss to make more plays than Carson Beck. And so I think, like Ohio State, Miami controlled the time of possession. They controlled the yardage. They made it frustrating. And for Ole Miss, they're not going to stop the run as much. And Miami might be able to score more. But if then you look at Shane Dawson, Miami's offensive coordinator, and goes, oh shit, excuse the language, Ole Miss's defense isn't that good, so let's drop some shots for Carson Beck. That might not be the best idea. Stick to the game plan. And I love the point you made on Pete Golding too. You're just like, he should be good at defense. I think it's just when these defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators get spread to head coaching jobs, they get spread too thin. It's like the Jets with Jeff Ulbrich. It's like a bunch of them. And also Ole Miss's defense isn't that talented, honestly, compared to the better ones. They just have a really good offense. You guys could clip this if you want. I just don't think Ole Miss's defense is great, but they make plays. And so
No,
yeah,
no,
that's what I just wanted to add.
I was gonna say you're not wrong on that. I mean, what if Lake Texas said get number 14 out the game? Oh, he
Exactly.
almost blew it. Two OPI
No,
or
no, yeah, I remember. Yeah, when I
No,
said
for
I said
real.
get him, I
two
said get his ass
PPIs.
out the game. I said get 14 out the game. He's gonna
It's
blow it
like
for.
it's like the DBs tell you, right? If you can't see the ball, get your hand up and start swatting. This
I
man
think
turned around, he turned his full body and launched himself into the tight end.
I
Like,
think
Yeah, it was insane.
I think that call could have gone both ways, but you have to be more careful in that situation. And then you go a couple of plays later, and then you go and you get another, holding. So it's like you can't do that in that situation. So yeah, no,
Absolutely not.
Yeah, the 14 almost, see, 14 almost fucked it up.
He got
Almost.
lucky
No,
that Kirby Smart had an aneurysm and decided not to go play over the top. That's what
This-
I didn't understand. It's like all they need is a field goal, and you just let him throw a bomb over the top with no safety help. I was
yeah.
appalled by what I saw. I was like, I'm looking at one of the greatest defensive coaches in the game right now with no safety help over the top. I was like, what are you doing?
I swore both coaches were trying to lose the game at the end there because also the one other Kirby Smart is the best coach in America, in my opinion, and Mike Bobo's right up there with the offense coordinators. They got to the 3 yard line on first down on a run. Why did they call a screen pass on second down? That went for -7 yards. That was insane to me. Insane.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into a prediction for this game. Who wants to start us off?
I mean, since I already basically gave my prediction,
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go with Ole Miss. I just really like how Trinidad's been playing, and I'm not gonna go against a kid who's from Michigan. I'm always gonna root for anybody who's from Michigan. So, give me Ole Miss in this game. I think it's going to be a very close game. Obviously, I mean, usually all these semifinal. Once we get in the semifinals and championship, usually it's pretty close, but. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ole Miss here. I like how they've been playing. They're hot right now. Um, yeah, give me the Rebs.
Yeah, I think Trinidad is the big name in college football right now, like the one name, other than Mendoza, really, because he won the Heisman and all that, and potential first round, first overall pick. Trinidad is like he's got magic, obviously. Like Blake said, got to root for him because he Ferris State legend was is
Let's
from the
go.
state,
Shout
and
out Grand Rapids, dude.
say what you
Yeah.
want. Trinidad's a winner. He won a championship with Ferris State, so he's a winner. He knows how to win games, right? And there's something for that. Regardless of if it was Division 2, whatever, he's a winner. So I think, like I said, I really think he's gonna pull a rabbit out of the hat and like some amazing plays here. Had a few against Georgia, and we all thought Georgia had probably the second best chance to win the national championship. So. I think he's going to pull some magic out. Give me Ole Miss.
I want Ole Miss this season to continue. I think it would be the best story in college football history if they win. I don't think we've seen anything like this. I wouldn't say sports history, but there will be a 30 for 30 on it, obviously. But I'm gonna go with Miami though, and I'm gonna go with Miami one because I'm rooting for Ole Miss, and I'm trying to not do the everybody pick on the graphic and then they do the other.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say I trust Miami's defense more than I trust Ole Miss's defense, and I saw Miami sort of control the game against Ohio State. This game is obviously going to be different paced. I think Carson Beck will play a good game manager role, but also see a statistical upheave because of what Ole Miss's defense is. I think they're going to run the ball with Mark Fletcher. If I had to predict a Fiesta Bowl MVP, I'm going to go with him. And I think Miami wins like I don't know, we'll go with a 28-27 game. I think it's one of the classics. Miami fans obviously have that PTSD from the Fiesta Bowl, and I think they get it back here. And the team that shouldn't have made the playoffs goes to the national championship.
That would be crazy if everyone was
I'll
like Notre Dame over them and then they get to the national championship.
And it's
add it
and,
on.
and it's in
Yeah.
Miami.
And it's in
I
Miami, the national championship.
I think
Yeah.
the national champ I think the playoff committee would literally like they would probably stick it to
I,
everybody.
I do,
Oh,
I do,
absolutely.
I do kind of want. I'm not gonna root for anybody in this game. I do kind of want to see Miami win though because I want that game to be in Miami because Shamar goes to Miami, so I want him to experience that game, like a national championship.
Will Miami students finally go to a game since it's the national championship?
No, they're still not gonna go though. That's the thing.
They're still not going to go
They're
because
still not gonna go.
apparently the bus gets really crowded.
They're not.
That's apparently it.
They're not gonna
Oh,
go. I promise you, they aren't. But
whatever, whatever. Indiana, Oregon. Quick preview so then we could get to some NFL stuff. They met on October 11th, and just to put the game into one summary, Fernando Mendoza threw an interception, made it 2020, then led a 15-play drive, Elijah Surratt touchdown, then forced a turnover on Dante Moore. That was the game there. These might be the two best teams in the country. And Oregon, they were playing a song named Get Back today at practice. You know how much they wanted. Kurt Signetti versus Dan Lanning. what I guess are the keys. I'll start us off, and I'm going to take the most obvious one from you guys. Who is going to play better between Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore? These might be the two best quarterbacks in the country. They might be the number one and number two pick in the draft if Dante Moore declares. By the way, Dante, please declare. I would love to have you in New York. Would love you.
That's a
Um,
threat.
who,
But
it's a
not say
threat.
that. That's a threat.
Whoever makes more plays in this game, I think, is going to win. Again, obvious statement. These are two defenses that both are ranked top 10 in America. These are two of the three teams in the country that were ranked top 10 in total offense and total defense throughout the year. And I think when you look back at that Indiana Oregon game, it was Mendoza that made the plays after the pick six. Dante Moore said he was putting too much pressure on himself, all that. And now you reach this stage where your quarterback is one of the best in the country. Who's going to make the big throw when it matters? Is it going to be Fernando Mendoza, who statistically hasn't been incredible against great teams, but has made that play when it matters? Or is it going to be Dante Moore in Oregon, who pretty much have won in every single way since that Indiana game? They know how to win low scoring, they know how to win high scoring. And so when the fourth quarter comes, it's just who do you trust more? That's where it's going for me because look, we could go tit for tat. They both have great skill positions. They both have ridiculous defenses. They have two of the best coaches in college football. And so I'm looking right at the quarterback matchup as opposed to the other game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously quarterback matchups very important, whoever plays better. I'm going to go more in depth though, and I'm going to focus more on Mendoza. Dan Lanning and Josh Lapoy have to absolutely outsmart Fernando Mendoza. How do you do that? I don't know. I really don't know how articulate that kid is. I don't know how you outsmart him. But they have to figure out Fernando Mendoza. They have to figure out how to shut him down. I think one way that you can, and it's very simple, is you hit the shit out of him. Of course, you have to get to him first, but hit the shit out of him and hit the shit out of everybody on Indiana. This is a team that is led by one of the cockiest motherfuckers we have seen in college football history.
Hmm.
Uh, Now, it is tough to be cocky, but when somebody is cocky, you hit the shit out of them. They don't expect that. So that's one thing. But I think you really have to outsmart Mendoza, make him uncomfortable, and force turnovers. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If I was on Oregon secondary this whole week, I would be so laser focused. Like I would shut my phone off. I would be watching 80 plus hours of film. Like it would be only how the hell can I stop Fernando Mendoza? So that's my key right there. You stop him, yeah, you win.
I think it's just about being opportunistic. That's my key takeaways. I mean, you talk about the number one, number two pick. You're talking about two of the top best college coaches in the nation, two of the best defenses, two of the best offenses. Like tit for tat, these are like the best two teams left, in my opinion. That's not saying much. Obviously, there's only four teams left, but I just think that all year round they've been both sound in every single facet of the game. And I think it's going to come down to one play at the very end. I don't know who that's going to be. Either it's going to be Dante have to make the throw, or it's going to be Mendoza that's going to have to make the throw. It's going to be a third or fourth down, probably a fourth down if it's at the very end of the game, right? It's going to come down to who can make that play, who can pull the special out of their bag. And that's really going to tell us who's the number one pick. I know Mendoza won the national or won the Heisman, but in terms of prospects, someone might say Dante Moore is the better prospect. It like when you hold it up on a scale, it's even. They're both at the same place. So in that way, I say you just have to be opportunistic. If Dante Moore throws a ball that's just airing, if you're in Indiana, you have to make the play. It can't bounce off your hands and then you're like, oh man, I should have made you gotta make the play. If you're in Oregon, like if you're Finney, you just had in a spectacular game. You gotta take that to this game. You can't say, well, I had a great game against Texas Tech. Let me not that he's gonna take the game off, but you gotta be like, hey, I'm looking for interception. I want the pick six. I want to be legendary here. You know what I'm saying? I want my time to shine. So like Blake said, you should be studying everything you can of these two quarterbacks. If you're in Oregon, if You better look at how he breathes. You better look at his sleep routine. You better look at everything, right? You
Look
better
how he
act.
steps out the fucking car.
Yeah, if his barber cut 1 inch of his hair different, you better see how that you better see how it looks.
What
I don't
pisses him
care
off? What
because
pisses him off?
it's gonna come down to one play, and it's gonna be one DB who makes, a second late on the read, a quarterback who sees the player. I'm telling you, it's gonna come down to that. It's not gonna be one team dominating the other. It's gonna come down to a 27 to 30 finish. One team gets into place and Atticus Sappington hits the game-winning field goal or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be one of those things where like you once these two defenses put the pressure on one of these quarterbacks, can you get the forced fumble? Can you get the pick? Can you get the turnover? Can you get the stop on 4th and 3? Can which defensive coordinator can outsmart the offensive coordinator? So I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Let's just get right into predictions. We've seen these teams. The media's going to talk about these teams, and now one of them will have the chance to play for their first national championship ever. Who is it going to be? Who wants to start us off?
Indiana. I've got Indiana. I mean, Indiana's been the best team all year. They got a better offense, they got a better defense. I'm not gonna go against them until I see proven otherwise. So, yeah, I got Indiana.
What do you say? Google me. Google me.
Google me.
Look me up. I win. I think he does it. I think Mendoza, the Cinderella season continues. The worst big school, the worst, Power Four school of all time finally gets the national championship since was it like six what was the last time Indiana won? It was a while. It was like a century ago, something like that.
Yeah,
Something
they've never
crazy.
won a natty. Yeah,
They've
they've
never
never won a
won?
real natty.
Okay.
They've never
Yep,
won a natty, no. I don't think
Okay.
they've ever been, but I mean,
Okay.
they haven't had a season like this since 1970, so that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, so
exactly.
Cinderella season, 700 losses, it all somewhat wipes clear. Give me Indy.
Yeah, I mean, I want to pick Oregon, but after I saw what Indiana did to Alabama and what they've been doing to every team, how are you going to go against them? I think the trenches are the biggest one, specifically Indiana's defensive line versus Oregon's offensive line, because Oregon's offensive line, Joe Moore, finalist, but Indiana number one pressure rate in America. I just can't go against the Hoosiers. I can't go against Ignetti. Give me Indiana in that game. But if Oregon wins, I won't be surprised, I guess I'll say.
I wouldn't either. I mean, obviously, with Indiana winning the regular season matchup and how close it was, I actually wouldn't be surprised if Oregon won either.
Yeah,
Exactly.
when did that game came down to what was the score of that game? I can't
Thirty
remember.
twenty.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 30-20. It was 20-20 after the Mendoza pick six, then the touchdown to Elijah Surratt.
That's
And then
right.
yeah, the touch it was made in the fourth quarter pretty much. That's what it was. It was rainy, it was gross. It's not going to be rainy and gross this time though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk some NFL playoffs now.
Ooh.
Before we do predictions and stuff, right? We will just say, I don't know. Who's your Super Bowl prediction? Let's get into it. I
Ooh.
could go first if I just threw it at you.
Yeah, go
Like
ahead.
I don't
I've
really
been
know.
I've been I've been seeing everyone's predictions. I've been fighting with myself all day today. I don't know. Go ahead,
All
Jake.
right, so let me take you through mine because I believe the NFL is scripted. No, I don't actually, but I think this would be cool.
Slightly.
Uh, Slightly.
Slightly.
On the NFC side, I'm not going to take you through everyone, but I think that the Rams will beat the three teams they lost to on the road. I think they will beat the Panthers this week. I think they'll beat the Eagles next week, and I think they'll beat the Seahawks in the NFC Championship. Then on the AFC side, you know my saying, Patrick Mahomes, I take him until I saw him lose. They're not there. So, and Lamar Jackson is there, and Joe Burrow's not there. The best quarterback in the AFC is Josh Allen. They're either going to lose this week or they're going to make the Super Bowl. I think they're going to make the Super Bowl. Give me the Buffalo Bills. And in the Super Bowl, Josh Allen gets it done. I think the Bills are going to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I
Uh,
like that.
oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead too.
I was gonna say my obviously the two teams I had at the beginning of the season are not there, being Lions, Chiefs. But midway through when we redid ours, I said Bills, Rams. I'm still kind of liking that. I mean, Josh Allen, I feel like he's got everything on the line, like legacy, like no Lamar, no Patrick Mahomes. This is the year you do it. And so the Jaguars are a tough task, but you're favored and you should win that game. I think the Patriots had a cupcake schedule and they're going to face some real players, some real, teams. Um, yeah, if man's not going to get it done, I think the Patriots will at least beat the Chargers. I don't think if man's going to do it. I will give him a break this year since he's been hurt and his whole line is non-existent. Steelers and Texans. Steelers not even going to win a playoff game. Texans offense can't even hang. Rams, we know who they are. They've been lacking. Don't let them fool you. They haven't had Devontae, so they haven't been as good in the red zone as of recently because since he hurt his hamstring against the Lions. So I think the Rams get all the way to it. Eagles offense is too up and down. Niners have too many injuries. Bears and Packers, we're just gonna leave that where that is. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go Bills Rams. Who wins between those two? I feel like Stafford's gonna win the MVP and then he's gonna go for his second Super Bowl and then I think he walks out. I think if he wins MVP and then he gets to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl, I think Matthew Stafford's like, I think he's like, I'm out. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm
So,
out.
sunset, sunset.
Well, you guys both went Bills Rams, so I can't do that.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go. We're
Wait,
gonna
you
go.
didn't pick the Seahawks?
Who,
The
me?
stat
I'm,
the
I'm actually
Darnold guy?
surprised. I'm
Jake,
actually
Jake
surprised
didn't
you
pick
didn't do it.
the Darnold guy did not pick the Seahawks. Wow.
I love the Seahawks, and I think if it's Rams Seahawks come the NFC Championship, I'm going to pick Seattle. Right now I'm picking Los Angeles just because I trust Matthew Stafford more. I
Who do
love
you
the Seahawks though.
who do you think the Seahawks lose to?
The Rams. I think the Rams are the Seahawks' biggest threat. I don't think they lose to any team besides the Los Angeles Rams. I think that they, what's it called? I think they'll win. They're at home field. I don't think any team's going to give them not trouble. I think they'll get trouble because it's the playoffs. But I trust the Seattle's defense and I trust Sam Darnold. Look, people can say what they want about him and how he's not elite. He just became the fourth or the second quarterback besides Tom Brady to win 14 games in two straight seasons. So regardless of how good he is, he wins games. And that could be a testament to the talent around him. But he's doing enough to not lose games. And he's a great story in itself. And I honestly don't know how people could look at Sam Darnold and go anything but great for him because he was left out to rot by teams. And one team in specific that I will never forgive. But that's why I'm going to go with the Rams. I believe in Stafford just more in that scenario. But I'm telling you, if it becomes the NFC Championship, I will pick Seattle.
Let me ask you a hypothetical question real quick.
Indeed.
Packers Bears, we all kind of think the Packers are gonna win that. Or I don't know where
Yeah.
you yeah, okay. If Packers win that, do you think that the Packers could upset Seattle?
I think they could. I mean, I put this in for my predictions and what's it called? For sporting news. The Packers won as the 7 seed 2 years ago against Cowboys. They put up 40 plus points on the Cowboys in Jerry World, and then they gave the number one seed Niners a run for their money, right? I expect that the Packers are healthy and they're not healthy, but if Jordan Love's playing well, like we know we can, and Josh Jacobs is healthy, I think they give Seattle a run for their money. But there's no defense I trust more in the league than Seattle, especially after what I saw them do to San Francisco. They've pretty much run the table. They could win offensively, they could win defensively. I mean, they put 38 points on Los Angeles. I know one of them was a punt return touchdown. I think they'd beat the Packers, and I think they'd beat any team that comes into their house besides the Rams.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Super Bowl prediction. I'm gonna go with Philly because they're the reigning defending champs. And then give me
You think Philly can win 3 playoff games with that
I
I think
offense?
just
they can.
I
Yeah,
do.
I think they can.
I absolutely think Philly can win 3 playoff games.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do them in Buffalo. I think this was my pick. I think in the middle of the season, this was my pick. So
It was. I very well remember this.
I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go Buffalo and Philly. Um,
Well,
I think I just think the AFC is too young. I just think they're too young. I think this is like if Buffalo, listen, man, if Josh Allen's gonna get to the Super Bowl, it better fucking be this year. It
yes.
better be this year. He's got to do it this year. He has to. He's got to do it this year. I don't believe in him. I absolutely
It
don't.
has to be.
It has to be
It
this.
totally has to be.
It does. So
Yeah.
I think Buffalo's got it made out for him in the AFC. Obviously, yes, Philly does have to overcome some demons. But they absolutely can win 3 playoff games, 100%.
He would
100%.
he would have to go through because I think I don't know what you guys think in terms of Patriots Chargers. I think the Patriots are going to win that, and if they do that, Bills have to go back to the Broncos, and it's a
Yep.
rematch of last year,
And
which would
I
be
think that's
interesting.
I think that's better. I like you look at Josh Allen's road. He doesn't have to face Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have to face Lamar Jackson. Like, do I think the Broncos could beat the Bills? Yeah, absolutely. But do I trust Josh Allen or do I trust Bo Nix in his first playoff start? Right. And this is again, this is the script that I was going at, and this is why I love the fuel here. The Bills and Patriots split this year. They were two of the best teams, AFC East.
That's
What's
the AFC
stopping them from playing in
Championship.
the Yep, just like on the other side, it's the NFC Championship. I just gave away my full bracket. Sorry, but that's what I mean, it's very possible. And this could be a Mahomes-esque run when they beat the Niners in the Super Bowl, where Josh Allen plays 3 games away from home. And I said this to Ryan and Griff, who are two of my friends, Pod, who's a Bills fan and a Jaguars fan, because they're already arguing about this game. I think the Bills are either going to lose this week against a red hot Jacksonville team or they're going to go all the way. I think that a lot of people are going to blow smoke up Sean McDermott's team's butt this week because they can't do it to the Ravens, they can't do it to the Chiefs, and they can't do it to the Bengals. But if they don't take care of business in the first one, then it doesn't matter. But we all agree they have a favorable road, almost as favorable as it could be for a wild card team.
Yeah.
I really feel like Josh Allen is either going to get to the Super Bowl or he's going to lose in the first round.
Yeah,
Because I think the Jaguars
exactly.
are just that talented this year. Like they're on a hot streak. They're really good. This is the best Trevor Lawrence has ever played. The team is at a high, and they're not even. I mean, Travis is out for the season, and they surged from 5-4 to the number 3 seed. And it's like if he doesn't win that, then the AFC is wide open, and Patriots might
Wide
just
open.
walk. I mean, the Patriots might walk to a Super Bowl, or even the Broncos, and then after that. It's really wide open in the AFC, like you said. So it does. I mean, we gotta start having some real talks about Josh Allen if he can't get through Jacksonville and then the Broncos and then the Patriots when they're all real young and haven't even been here before.
Exactly. I was gonna throw out two other questions, but then again, we sort of just went over them. So let's just predict the wild card round. And then TalkBall Tweakers, we will post on our Instagram our full bracket prediction too. We'll get that done before Saturday, but let's go game by game. Maybe give a key or two, but not too long because we have to get out of here. But let's start with Rams Panthers. I'll go first. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll say swag. I very rarely agree with Swagoo, very rarely, but he said
What's
it
what
well
you
on
say?
ESPN. He said it very well on ESPN today. The reality is the Panthers are 8-9. They ain't winning shit. Um,
Boy, they better be
yeah,
blasting some Rod Wave in that locker room. That's the only
Amen.
yeah.
Yeah.
hope. Got my
Dude,
heart
hey,
on my
look,
sleeve. You better
Amen.
start
look.
blasting
I'm
it.
going. I'm
Man.
going back to Charlotte tomorrow. I'm off on Saturday. I'm probably not getting credentialed to the game because of the high volume. I hope Charlotte's lit. But come 8:30 when that game's over, the Panthers are going home. The Rams are moving on. I'll keep it simple.
The line is at 10.5, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
That's the biggest,
That is,
that's the biggest, other than Eagles Niners, which is at 4.5. 10.5 is nuts.
yeah, Jesus. All right, you guys both pick Rams too, I
Yeah,
assume. I'm
man.
not even.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're my
Okay. Cool.
Super Bowl pick
Cool.
anyway.
Cool.
Yeah.
Come
Cool.
on,
Cool. Cool.
man.
Saturday night, Bears Packers. Yeah. Shit. I honestly like. I'm gonna go first again. I want to pick the Bears because I love the Bears defense. I think the Packers are gonna beat them. I do. I think the Packers are just. I was gonna give a key. I think Jordan Love's gonna play really well, and I think that the Bears' magic comes to an end early.
Okay. There is a reality where I see the Packers winning this game, and I do believe that they can. Micah being out to me, I can't pick them. So I'm gonna go with Chicago. It's in Chicago too. So I think Chicago does it, but best believe Chicago is getting spanked next round. If it ain't if it ain't this week, it's next week. They are getting spanked and they're gonna get sent home right where we are. in Cancun. So give me Chicago on this one though.
This is like when the guy in your class that's super annoying is teams up with the guy in your class that disrespected you to your face. It's like, man, I wish you would both just leave the class. Stop talking. This is like a lose-lose situation. This is a win-lose situation because, don't like the Packers, don't like the Bears. It's really hard because these are two offensive coaches, and it's like, I don't know. It's really a toss-up because Jordan Love should be back. We know how both times went. I feel like I got to go Packers. I think they dominated the first game was kind of back and forth, and Packers ended up pulling out the win. And the second game, the Packers were winning it up until the last minute of the game, and then the Bears surged. So I feel like the Packers are going to learn from that. Um, and Jordan Love didn't even play in that second matchup. So I think if the Packers had won that second game, I would go with the Bears. But I think the Packers with Jordan Love are a little bit ahead of the curve than Chicago is. And I also think Ben Johnson still got a little, I think he's still thinking about Dan, It's like thinking about your ex after you see her for the first time. You start thinking about it a little bit. You're like, oh man. So I think he's still thinking about that. And I don't think they're going to be ready for the Packers. Give me the Packers.
But moving on to Sunday, the Ryan versus Griffin Bowl, as I'm calling it. No one else is calling it that. Bills Jaguars. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. Not a key to the game, but if Josh Allen can't do it this year, when are they gonna do it? So I think the Bills get it done in Jacksonville this week. I think it's a really close one because the Jaguars are really good and they force a lot of takeaways. I expect both those guys to turn over the ball once or twice, even though they're both very good. Buffalo, yeah, Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean Buffalo's my Super Bowl pick, so Buffalo. I have loved the run that Jacksonville's been on though. Trevor Lawrence has been balling. And
Finally,
I liked it because he was my fancy backup once Mahomes went down. So yeah, I mean shout out to Jacksonville though for this year. I think they have a bright future. I think Liam Cohen is a guy. They got their guy for sure. The offseason changes that they made set them up for absolute success. So I'm excited to see what Jacksonville does in the future, but unfortunately, you got to run into Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and I'm going to go with the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. Like I said, I feel like a part of me, like a good majority of me, is telling me to say Jaguars, even though I think the Bills are going to get to the Super Bowl. It's just like, I feel like this is gonna be one of those times where Josh Allen has all the pressure on him, and he's just gonna try and turn into Superman, and it's gonna backfire big time on him. And then McDermott's gonna be one of those coaches looking for another job. Because obviously, if they lose this game, McDermott is gone. Like, ain't no way he's sticking around after that. Um,
yeah.
I think that Trevor Lawrence can do it. I think he can win it. Like, there's a good percentage Trevor Lawrence can do it if he rides the hot wave. But yeah, give me Josh.
That second game on Sunday is Eagles Niners in Philly. How we feeling about that game? I'm gonna go with the Eagles, even though the Niners are a better football team than me and they have been this entire year. I just think them going on the road, and I think Philly is going to find a gear, especially with the rest. And I can't see them losing, which is weird because they've been terrible the entire year. But give me Philly in that game.
Um, yeah, Philly, my Super Bowl pick. Come on now.
Oh, yes,
No,
indeed.
I ain't going against the Eagles, boy. Fly, Eagles, fly. I think it's gonna
Shout
be
out Izzy because she texted me and said she wants a shout out and she's an Eagles fan.
shout out to Izzy, man. Shout out Izzy. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna be a very close game. It's gonna be a tough one for Philly. But I think they can get it done. Um, yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that. Go
Uh,
Eagles.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a defensive battle. It's gonna be a low scoring game. We just saw Purdy try and go up against one of the best defenses in the league, and he only put up a field goal. Give me Philly.
Sunday night, the Justin Herbert led Los Angeles Chargers go to New England to face the Mike Vrabel and Drake May led Patriots. Is anyone going with LA in this game?
Man, hell no. If man with a broken hand and no offensive line,
The real ones on the podcast know about Toussaint's Justin Herbert ran in episode 2. If you thought he was picking Justin Herbert against the Patriots this time, you stay off the
You're the tweaker if you
lead.
think I'm picking the Chargers. You're the tweaker.
No, I agree with you. I think that the Chargers, I look, they're good. I just think the Patriots are better. I think Herbert's not going to implode like he did last year, but I just trust the Patriots since they're at home and they're a well-oiled machine, in my opinion. And I think I know what Blake's going to say. So let's go to Monday night.
Come on.
Well, you start thinking about it. Like, come on now.
Yeah, stop thinking.
I
Stop
mean,
thinking.
I do like the Chargers defense though. That's all I'm gonna say. That they're
Yeah.
nice.
In what world is Justin Herbert gonna ball out against a 13-3 team with an MVP candidate?
No, I'm just saying. All I'm gonna say here is I am picking New England. Of course, I'm not dumb, but I am going to say the Chargers have a nice defense. Don't be surprised if there are some shockers.
Oh, for sure. Like, I don't think they're.
That is a game that is on upset watch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be an absolute. I don't think it's going to be an absolute blowout. I
He
just think New
doesn't
England's
agree.
better.
He doesn't agree. I don't care. That game's an upset watch. Trust me. It doesn't have to be because of Justin Herbert. I'm not. You haven't even seen me mention
Hey, Justin Herbert has played 2 playoff games,
The game is on.
and he has looked shitty boo boo in both of them.
The game's on upset watch.
The game and on upset watch.
It's on upset watch.
Ladies
damn
and
it.
gentlemen, that's the episode. Blake is tweaker of the week.
That game's on upset watch, man. I'm telling you.
No, that's if man.
Sponsored by Tom Gorski. All right, last game. The 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers returns to the playoffs for the first time since 2021. They welcome the Houston Texans, who, fun fact, this is their first time ever as a wild card team. The past 8 times they made it, they were the AFC South champions. Will Houston win 11 straight, or will Mr. Rodgers, who's a bad man, win again? Or not win again, but take them to the next round, rather.
Nah.
I like Houston's defense. I like
Houston-
Houston's defense.
Hu-
I
okay,
love Houston's defense.
here's the difference between Houston's defense
Yeah.
and everyone else. Seattle Seahawks have a lockdown defense. Houston's defense inflicts pain. They will come over the middle like 2000s Ravens and let you know we're giving you CTE for Christmas. That's what that here's your present. It's brain damage. I'm serious. And just ask Rashee Rice. He got hit real hard and didn't know where he was at when he got up. So
Yup.
literally, they have all pros at every position. The all pro team might literally be all Texan players and then Myles Garrett. Like it literally could be the entire defense. So and here's the thing about Rodgers, I just gotta say. Rodgers throws dink and dunk passes. He got lucky against the Ravens because the Ravens defensive coordinator couldn't figure out that he was throwing to running backs 2 yards up the field, and the running backs were just going for 8 yards. That's not going to work against the Texans. They will make Jalen Warren fold. He will fold him like a lawn chair and set him down on the ground. I'm serious. Petrie will put him down.
Yeah, the Ravens. Let me just say one thing about this. I don't think the Steelers should have won yesterday. I think the Ravens lost.
I wanted
it's what the Ravens-
Baltimore in this game so bad.
Same, and I wanted Lamar Jackson. I wanted Derrick Henry, and I guarantee you 99% of NFL fans wanted that. But what a poorly coached team, and the Ravens always find ways to lose. So, oh my God, it would have been so much better if it was Lamar.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm just pissed. No, no, I've got Houston in this one. Their defense is really nice.
Really nice. Yeah, so those are our wildcard predictions pod. We'll get it on the Instagram along with a full bracket, but it is time for our first tweaker of the week. Now, I could defer to one of you, but I have a very passionate rant to bring us back to the start of the episode. So I personally would like to go first. That's all right.
Yeah,
You want to go first?
I want to go first. Yeah,
go
I'm asking for it.
Go
I
ahead.
have 2. Well, actually, I don't have 2. One is Aaron Glenn because, gosh, I could talk about the New York Jets forever. Go watch the early part. Todd McShay and anybody in the draft process this year that goes, they shouldn't declare because they're coming to the Jets. Do I agree with you that the Jets are a terrible organization. Absolutely. I fully agree. I think they are the worst organization in sports, hands down. We could argue that another time. They are terrible. But to say that someone shouldn't go there because they're that bad and say Dante Moore, the second overall pick, should go back to college, risk injury, risk a lower draft pick and a better quarterback class, while the Jets actually have pieces on offense, he's not going into oblivion. And I think that anybody, when evaluating who goes to the Jets, says, well, they're the Jets, so you shouldn't go there and you should do everything against your power not to. Just shut up. Give me real draft analysis. Look, I fully agree with you of how terrible the Jets are, and I fully agree with you that the Jets will probably ruin whoever they get in the draft. I fully agree because they are the worst organization in sports. But if you are getting paid real money to analyze sports, give me a real take. Don't say just because they're the Jets. Because Dante Moore, he's good enough to come into New York. He grew up in Detroit. Do you think the New York media has anything on him? You think he'll be faced by the New York media? I'll tell you right now, absolutely not, because he also had to deal with the LA media his 1 year at UCLA when he sucked. And so, yeah, I gotta say it. The Jets are terrible. They're awful. Anybody that gets paid should not say they shouldn't go to the Jets because of the Jets. You guys know, yeah. Welcome back. Happy 2026, everyone.
Bro, I love the Jets rants, man. I do. I really
They're
do. Um,
they're very real, and people think that like I am irrational Jets fans. I get texts every Sunday about how do you feel about the Jets, and it's always the same. Like you guys know me well enough to know that my pessimism with the Jets, they can't make me any worse than they are. They're terrible. They were the worst team in NFL history this year, like I said, in my opinion. Like they're just so awful. It's not fun. It's not fun. Football's supposed to be fun. I see all these fans. I saw you guys last year. Well, I haven't had a home playoff game in my entire existence on this earth. How am I supposed to have fun? Oh gosh.
true.
Yeah. But don't even get me started about the Rangers or the Mets. Don't.
Two, you can go ahead.
Um,
Good luck.
I feel like there hasn't been too many tweakers this week.
He's saving it
Um,
for Justin Herbert next week.
yeah, don't worry, he'll get a piece of my mind. Justin Herbert, let me watch you be trash. I'm coming on here and I'm certainly tweaking. All right, my tweaker of the week is probably going to be. I'm gonna go to basketball. I'm gonna say the Warriors. Um, Golden State Warriors, what is going on? I mean, you got Draymond running around like he owned the place. You got the head coach. Oh, Draymond is on a 4 year, $100 million contract. He it has, bro, he has the brain capacity of a child. It's like it gives me headaches every single time I go on Twitter. I see him talk about how he's like, oh, we just had a disagreement. Like I just chose to leave the team. It's like, buddy, you get paid 25 M's and you're worried about a 3 second call so you get ejected. His last 5 games have been ejected, rest, ejected. And guess what's game they rested him? Against the OKC Thunder. That's who. So we need to get it together. It's atrocious. Um, Other trigger of the week, I'll put in addition to that, um, this kind of spans back to the beginning of the year. I heard uh, I mean, there's actually a few trigger of the weeks I could go with. Um, Actually, you know what? Let me go with football. Ohio State. Uh, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, you said you were 2019 LSU wide receivers and you just lost to Miami in the first round. That's a better
Uh,
one. That's a better
that
one.
is
I
that
saw
that is a better
I
one.
saw them say how they were better than Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and you lost to Miami in the first round of the college football playoffs. You are the furthest thing from that. I mean, anybody look at their stats. I mean, those were the most elite duo ever. Now, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, y'all are a great duo, but for y'all to put up terrible numbers relative, I mean, Jeremiah Smith didn't
Hey,
have a bad
Jeremiah
game.
Smith
He
balled
didn't have a
out.
bad
Jeremiah
game.
Smith had
He didn't have a bad game. Make your block, buddy. Before you start telling me you're Justin Jefferson,
no, no,
make the
no.
block. Make the block.
My favorite Jeremiah Smith thing, and I know it's your tweaker of the week, but everybody's saying he couldn't be happy after the game, seeing all his old Miami friends saying he just lost a playoff game, so he can't be happy. I just love when sports fans go like, "Yeah, bro, you lost a game. You don't deserve to be happy with your friends and family." And I
Yeah.
fully believe that Aaron Glenn shouldn't be, and he should be watching tape. But let's be clear.
Hey, the Tyler Loop thing. Well, you saw people went to his Instagram and was like on his fiance's poster, like, I hope you get divorced.
Dude, no, for real. Like he should have a lot of security in Baltimore, especially in Baltimore.
No, they might turn Baltimore into Gotham. His house might be, yeah, it's bad for him.
Dude, good for Pete Alonso. He doesn't have to worry about shitting the bed in his first year with the Orioles now because everybody has a new guy to go target and try to kill.
That should be my tweak of the week was kickers. I don't know how Boswell missed the extra point, then take a terrible kickoff, and then you get gifted a 44-yarder to win the division, and then you can't even do that. But I have this
Hmm.
thing against my dad when I say kickers aren't athletes. Kickers are athletes. Let me say this in full honesty. They're athletes. They just ain't much of athletes. You got
Let's
one
even bring it
job.
before. Let's even bring it back before Boswell and Loop. Jaden Fielding. I'm comfortable picking within 60 yards. 60 yards. And then you
Bro,
missed
he
the one
missing
against Indiana,
26.
and then you missed the one against Miami.
Yo,
And then
kickers cannot
did
be.
you guys see what Garrett Wilson and Michael Thomas tweeted? Garrett Wilson says we need to get the best kickers, and Michael Thomas is just like, thank God someone said it. Like, what the? Yeah.
Yo, I'm telling you, kickers are not real human beings. You get paid millions of dollars to do one job, and you can't even do it right when the time calls for it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Um, I'm just gonna go with Sam Levitt and his brother because they're pissing me off. They're really pissing me off. All right, look, middle of the season, 1-3 breaks the news that Sam Levitt's gonna enter the transfer portal when the season ends. All right. Brother texts a reporter from 1-3 and basically threatens the guy. Basically threatens him and says, none of this is happening. Sam has not thought about transferring. He's not going to transfer all this blah 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 bullshit, whatever. Okay, I get it. You're trying to cover whatever the case. Okay, fine. Fine. That's that's fine. I get it. I get it. I totally do. And then the season ends. He enters his transfer portal with a do not contact tag, and the reports come out that he's about to land at Kentucky, and he's taking visits to Texas Tech, to LSU, to Kentucky. Why is Kentucky even in the picture? Why?
It's
What?
called
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care. I will gladly if I was a quarterback and the top quarterback.
and you see that yeah.
If I was a top quarterback in the college football right now, I would take a bag of Cheez-It and go to LSU rather than going and getting a $5 million to go fucking quarterback for the Kentucky Wildcats. That is fucking ridiculous.
And Arizona State just got Kentucky's quarterback.
I'm getting tired of this shit.
It's gonna be a quarterback swap.
I really am. I'm getting tired of it, and I get it. I get it too. Will Stein is the new head coach there. I get it. Will Stein, great guy, great coach. Developed Bo Nix. All right, he was there with Dylan Gabriel. I totally get the
Dante Moore.
I get that a little Dante, a little bit of Dante. Let's not hype on Will Stein and Dante too much. A little bit of Dante, okay, okay. That doesn't mean you go and sell your soul to go play for the Kentucky Wildcats. You go play
It's like when Le'Veon Bell came to the Jets.
at the Kentucky Wildcats. So I'm pissed off at the whole process. I'm pissed off at his brother for even texting the 1-3 reporter and threatening him and telling him that he wasn't. Honestly, why would you even text the reporter? If the news isn't true, if it's really such bullshit, why are you even texting the guy? Why text the guy? Okay? Why even do it? So that's all I have to say. That's stupid. It's stupid management. It's stupid fucking management. Because then you're bringing all this attention in the middle of the season to go to Kentucky? Are we serious? Are we serious right now? Okay, and it's fine. He could end up at LSU and I'll be happy. I will be totally happy. End up at Kentucky, I promise you, I will pray on Sam Levitt's downfall for the
Bro,
rest.
it's because Mark Pope needs someone that actually tries, and Sam Levitt used to play basketball.
I promise you, I will. I will. I'll do it. And then there's rumors that Sam Levitt got kicked off the football team at Arizona State. I don't believe that shit. But listen, if it comes out that he got kicked off our football team, listen here.
Oh,
Listen,
that brother got CTE.
I'm gonna
He
be
could go
so,
to Hot Pilates with Lane Kiffin.
I'm
Go
gonna
to
be
Hot Pilates. Yeah. All
go
right, Pod.
we'll do it.
Do do we have anything else to share on our first episode of 2026?
Man,
Nah.
there's a lot of tweakers. We've been out for a while. There's been a lot of tweakers that we just haven't discussed.
No,
Yeah.
there really has. There really has. Once I can really put my mind to the Raiders and Pete Carroll, that might be next week's. That might be next.
Yeah. We have our list. But my final words of this podcast is stay tuned for the picks on Instagram. Stay tuned for the rants on socials. And it is good to be back finally. But I'll turn it over to my lovely co-host to wrap up this episode.
Run up socials as always. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Reels. Share out to everybody. Comment your national champion. Comment your national champ. Well, let's do two. Comment your national champion and comment your Super Bowl champion. Let's do both of those since
Give us
um
a tweaker of the week too,
we're
because
in
we have a lot.
we're another one. You guys want another one?
No, not you. I'm talking about our
Oh,
subscribers. I know
Yeah.
you have one.
No, while we're at it, let's just add another
I'll
tweaker.
do another one. I'll do
I'll give
it.
another one too. No,
No.
but I gotta.
Comment, those three things. Run up socials as always, and stay fly. We'll see you guys next time.